started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it.
Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth, then take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs trying to get next to the heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died some pale more blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, still a memory tells me don't fall for spook. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5-point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the Grand Treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers, robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it.
Me nah play with on so simmer and easy. From 19 how long, me see it's sleazy. So sick, it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there. The Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months. Going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples. Lawsuits from inner fights. Not doing their job, 3,500 for birthright. Mufti Force left supposed to be in Gucci stores with God. I thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish mic renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer, MC battle star wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways, rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored, minority, death repairer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin, going crazy, waving gats. Cause you call yourself black, that's a kick me sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow so dull that I'm pulling down Orishas like skull caps to torture the rapper, scissor sippers. Rapper, CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped though. Admiral when I flow, major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Pac will, but beat the case like Black Bill, but no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liars do nothing for you while they get rich and for you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to snort from hood corners and block ghetto. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repedo, tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not babe but L like bread and hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands. With birthright brands, I don't worry about getting scanned.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know the true our people started dropping it.
What up?
You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out, left earless. Cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnappers, dirty more, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4, or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moore's lips off. Disrespecting the mother Raz Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge, or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalist Moore spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bay, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them dirty Nehessus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaanland is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorant, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same land, man. Canaanland is actually bigger than the land mass they know is the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they could just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear horse voices, see frog faces, and hoots for feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back teeth. New Moors are an issue, get Ginsu. Maybe a dream visit from Vishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance. Active Moors are militants, SPLC dirty Moors call that sovereign citizen. Lying for views, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen Bay sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beating us.
To any members of the MFTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MFTA. I got issues with
Kendrick Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirty's guilty of fraud if Drew Ali scrutinized their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge, the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates. In more faith, watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying so intricate.
long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Just want a little. I smoke, yeah. Nigga, I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the streets, here they come, here they act. Stroll around the corner, hands in the hood with a gat. They won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that, huh? Undercovers come up to me, ask me for crack. Not protect and to serve, that's provoking the act. They won't book me for that, they won't bag me for that. But the man in ties, they just look at me back. I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. Is it the rich that is mean, or the ways that you stack? Or the pigmentation of his skin, he's black, like they won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. Even speeding, I'm doing my limit. Can't be taxed, it's illegal. System structured, so you can't be rich. Got us breathing mustard. My brain's blue from the smoke. Ponics, human product. Illumines force light, they call simulate. The devil used man to try to make life, cause God wouldn't tell him, condemn him, spell him. God gave us the seed to reproduce till Mother Earth is full. So in the mean, I burn the marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the street, say they come, here they at. Stroll around the corner, hands in the hood with the cats. They won't book me for that. Where the good people at? Motherfuckers come up to me, ask me for crack. Protect them to serve, that's provoking the act. They won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. But a man in ties, they just look at me back because they think I'm black. Nah, man. Bruh. Something like that.
Marijuana, yo, it calm me. I don't know why they always on me. On it in a king for me. If you stop us, we put it out calmly. Officer, where's your authority? To impede a national on her land or his seas. How I love the sense of me. Bonnet I tell, no grabber in my weed. We check out the stems and seeds. Rolling while I'm rolling, that's a regular tendency. Enough man beat the NC. For me some bubble roots or some ganja tea. I take 2 shots for my enemy. Envious bad mind with the jealousy. But on the nothing we are the remedy. Chef in Zanga pit, we mastered the recipe. Watch this roll, yeah, it's a masterpiece. I don't care who sees about my herb in the streets. The cushion pen is always on me. Few times the pussy them try swami. Intelligent Joe, I tell them calmly, I'm MIA, Moorish Imperial Army. Mind what you say, you might rub me wrongly, matter in me eye. I bear yam beef, and I even brush me teeth. Me want me some beef, me no get a split it, bun me get drunky.
Marijuana and they won't book me for that. See me on the streets, here they come, here they at. Stroll around the corner, friends in the hood, where they gat. They won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that. Undercovers come up to me, ask me for cracks. Not protected to serve, that's provoking the act. They won't book me for that. They won't bag me for that. But the man in ties, they just look at me back. I burned the marijuana and they won't book me for that. Is it the rich that is mean, or the ways that you stack? Or the pigmentation of his skin, he's black. Like they won't book me for that. Won't bag me for that. Yeah.
Whew. Fuck me, that was intense. So I just watched this debate, if that's what you want to call it, with Edward X and Grand Sheik Tashariq Bey. And watching that debate, if that's what you want to call it, I was humiliated. Did anybody else feel humiliated? Besides me, I felt humiliated. Like, the stuff that was being said was some straight dogma. Like, I don't know what that was all about. It baffles me when I see this type of stuff going on. Why are we arguing this when there's nothing but facts out there? There's so many books. And, you know, just to try to downplay the fact that the people who come in with literature are referencing books written by Moors in their free national names, in their free national stance, their status. You want to, you know, talk about that as if that's not credible, when all you have to do is research the researcher. You don't just take anybody's word for face value. That's what makes you a true student, is to get out here and actually study. Don't never take somebody's word for face value. You always got to back it up. That's why we're in the position we're in now. But just like he said, I done read so many books, and I'm still reading books. I'm not even done with half my books. I'll just go and order so many books just to try to understand what's going on. And now that I feel like my third eye has really been opened up to this information, I feel like can't nobody stop me, can't none stop me. Like, I'm on the right path. And when Brother Todd speak, he speak to your heart. Like, he literally makes your heart sing. I don't know if it's just me or what, but that information that brother drops is more than enough to keep me up all night, all day, researching everything that he puts out, because he provides plenty of reference points. He provides plenty of reference points. And I myself can give testimony to that. I went and got a lot of the books to take time. Right now I'm reading the book by Peter Moore, Montauk the Dead, whatever the hell it's called. Montauk, the Book of the Dead. I got Economics by okay, here go Montauk, Book of the Dead, Peter Moon. Like, this stuff, literally, they got all of our information out here. There's so much stuff. They know everything about us and we don't know nothing. Nature knows no color line. They breaking it down. They're breaking it down in these books. This is Economicus. Any questions that you have about the Moors, about our nationality, get this book. It gives you a lot of information, wealth of knowledge. Get this book. It's by Uriel Bay. Yes, I said it. Uriel Bay. Nothing wrong with a brother with a last name with the title Bay writing a book that you can read. You know what I'm saying? That's just like saying, it's redundant. It's just like saying, why are we crediting this European by going to read his books and taking the knowledge out of his books? Why we can't do that for ourselves? But then you got brothers who out here writing these books, who putting that knowledge out there. We're talking about brothers who study, who are studious, who get all this information by going out researching. These brothers are studious. They dropping books with so much knowledge. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Research the researcher. For real. Like, there's really not much more I can say at this point. I mean, it's like, a dog chasing its tail. Here go another book by Brother Uriel Bay. All I do is read. I like reading more than I like a lot of things that's pleasurable, supposedly. There's so much knowledge out here, so much information. I might end up doing another video just to show all this knowledge that I got. All this knowledge that I'm rich. Straight up, I'm rich. Anybody who think that they rich because they got them greenbacks, come on. Only if you knew. Only if you really knew what you had. It's just so much stuff out here, man. One day I'm going to do another video. I didn't really care to do this video, but after that, when I seen that, I had to come out and say something. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, I don't care. Research the researcher. All I'm saying is change your literature, and you too can change a nation. You really can, because once you change your literature, it changes your mindset. And just like the brother Grand Sheikh Tariq Bey said, change your literature, you change your mindset, you can change the nation. And guess what that's gonna make you do? Be yourself. He ain't saying that, just to me. I don't know, when people hear certain things, when he say be yourself, he's saying literally to be yourself. You are a Moor. You are a Moor. That's the most significant thing that I've heard on my journey of researching. I've been researching for a real long time. I'm an adamant researcher. I'm always looking for some information. I'm always wanting to know something new. You know what I'm saying? I think that inside of me, I just got to know, because I'm on a journey. My soul is on a journey. For real. And we all must stick together. We all must do what we got to do, and we all must form our nation and get it stronger. Much, much stronger. There's brothers and sisters out here who got this information, who want to share it, but look at that. Trying to share that information with people who don't really weren't aware. It was like Taj was dropping that science, but only those who really know can understand what he was saying. Because it just seemed as if a lot of people that were in there were sleeping. Like they was asleep. And it was a lot of stuff he was saying was just going over their heads. If you didn't notice, it was just going over a lot of people's heads. I'm looking at faces. I'm reading body language, and that's what I'm seeing. You know, it's just, it was clowned out to a certain extent. But if you went there for something, you got something. I got some. I always get some. Straight up. I always get some because I'm looking with my eyes wide shut. I'm looking at everything. Everything. And like I said, I'm an academic researcher. You got to research. You got to read. In order to know this information, you got to read. Forget about Google. Google hiding information. Do you know Google paid people to go and make up all these false stories so that when you type in the name, a significant name that they really don't want you to find anything out about, they actually pay people to type up stories and place them in Google. They'll be the first 100,000 fucking names, you know, but then all the other information is buried in the back. People just research. Too many books out here, and they cheat. But guess what? That's where all the wealth is, in those books. It ain't in that fiat. It's definitely not in there. That's a debt note. You'll be in debt the more that you get. But just check it out. Go check out that debate between, it's on Brother Ben X's channel. Go check out that debate between Edward X and Grand Sheik Tashriq Bey. That was done on May the 26th, I want to say. May the 26th. But check out Brother Ben's channel and check it out and just let me know what you think. That's my opinion on it. There's more I could say, but I was gonna work and I gotta go get prepared for bed, and you know, I'll holler at y'all. Let me know what y'all think though.
A haircut controversy in Pearland ISD. The school said the boy's haircut with this design cut into it violates the dress code there. Now, here's where the controversial part of the story comes in. A school administrator took a magic marker and filled it all in. The young boy's mother is understandably not happy about this. Channel 2's Taisha Walker reporting on that story tonight from Barry Miller Junior High School.
We have tried multiple times to try to sit down and talk to the mother of that Barry Miller Junior High School student. The mother ended up changing her mind about going on camera, but she had this to say by email. Angela Washington shared this photo of her 13-year-old son Jules's head. If you look closely, you can see where she says a black permanent marker was used to shade in the carved design in his head. KPRC2 has a copy of the statement that says the student's haircut was against the dress code. Quote, hair must be neat, clean, and groomed. Extreme hairstyles such as carvings are not allowed. The statement goes on to say that the campus administrator mishandled disciplinary action and that filling in the hair carving is not a practice condoned by the district. Other parents say they side with the school to a certain extent. Several parents have shared that the district had all parents sign the school's dress code at the beginning of the school year. Still, Washington claims that the coloring of her son's head had racial undertones and says the whole ordeal was humiliating for her son. We're told that administrator is on leave. The district failed to comment on whether that person is on paid administrative leave. In Pearland, Taisha Walker, KPRC.
Islam Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace, Moor.
You killing them right now, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, okay, so for the first, we'll go back to the first video first, right, with the mother. We'll just you know, because I know you saw it too, and we were getting a little amped up.
Right. Right.
You know when mother talks, it's something different.
Yep.
So yeah, so what did you think? It was only 8 minutes, but it was a good 8 minutes.
Right.
It was a good 8 minutes.
Yep. I just want to give thanks to the mother too for confirming what I always been thinking, that the books is what's making me rich. That's what I tell them all the time. I'm the richest man in the world.
Mm.
My library is amazing. And she just confirmed it. Like, they think those Federal Reserve notes is making them rich? No. It's these books. And books saying that. I was like, oh wow, people really think like I think. Like it's in the books. And she was going in because, and like she said in the beginning, if that was a debate, if that's what you want to call it, because it's not a debate.
If that's what you want to call it, if that's what you want to call it, then okay, whatever.
Because it wasn't a debate.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
The ex-guy comes up there promoting his schisms, which we all know. Like, we already, as soon as he got up there, no, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
When you read the title, Are We Black? Are We Black? And it's a debate. Like, are we black? Like, and when I first saw it, it took me, I didn't click on it. I was like, all right, I'm not watching that. Like, because it's not a debate. There's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to watch it. And then I didn't realize it was Taj though. And then I clicked on it, and then I was like, oh, okay. But then I started watching the video, and the guy, what's his name? X?
Edward X, I think.
Edward X. Yeah. I say name because that's Christian property.
Yeah. Off the top, Christian property. You're either Greek property with the X, or your Christian property with the Edward.
Killing himself.
And then, of course, your U.S property, if you're NOI or whatever, because only those people use X.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody comes from Noble Drew Ali. Don't forget. Don't ever forget. Don't you dare ever forget that Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad and probably some other Muhammads were in the Moorish Science Temple before they were in the Nation of Islam. And they jumped ship.
Yep.
And gave their little club nationhood status. That's why they're big, how they're big like that. Their club is supposed to be for everybody. That's birthright. The club's supposed to be, if they're playing club, then it's only for the leaders. If they're playing club, come join and membership and stuff like that. And then when you go there for membership, whatever, all that's going on is singing and stuff like that, and read the Quran sometimes, and different guys go up and talk, say something, and that's it. And other than that, you're just a member. And this is about nation building. Now you better have some type of business that you're doing out there. If you're claiming to be a national or whatever, must be something. And then everybody found their little thing, and then they stopped saying that they're Moors, started calling themselves some Negro, Black, whatever, got some benefits. Now they're looking like they're the man about to debate Moors about are we black.
Unbelievable. Not even in debate.
Right? Not even a debate. And if you're really a student, you know that debate, whatever little stuff that master teacher said in that is peanuts compared to books that we got that he wrote. He didn't tell them anything. They got basic, lowest level that you can get if you want to know about Moors. Listen to the guy with the red hat. Go listen to him, and then you might get it. Because like Mother was saying, it was over people's head. It was so low, which is pretty intense. Think about it. It was what was presented, just Taj Tariq Bay's part, was over their head. But to Moors, that's the lowest level info. He told them nothing, really. When it comes to Moors on the high road, looking at the debate like, what is that? What is he trying to do? What's this guy trying to do with PowerPoint and all that stuff like that? Never showed one reference. How is it you keep talking colored? How is it that you making up stuff that Noble Drew Ali said, and then you're quoting certain parts when they're not finishing certain sentences to make sure that perspective is correct? And then again, how we get all the way into Q&A when Edward, which is a European, and X, which is a European, doesn't look like a European. That's plaintiff in error.
Yep.
Case dismissed. There's nothing to debate. Nothing to debate.
Killing himself. Kept saying, oh, you're taking the Eurocentric definition. Knowing caveman can't make no definition.
Hey, caveman made what dictionary caveman made?
Knowing that, like, how can you say that? Like, what do you mean?
And again, you know,
you just skipped right over the Dark Ages.
Again, it's not this to the caveman and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's some cave people going harder than Moors right now. I'll tell you that. And that's prophecy manifested. God, Noble Drew Ali said, told these Moors, if Europeans help, why not you? What are you doing? If Europeans are down with repping some, well, actually, Canadian government is a fraud. And it's really the indigenous people that I should connect myself back to. But then, those people, where I come from, which is a European place, are people called Moors. What are they doing in America or whatever? Noble Drew Ali and came to America to teach the Moors that they're not black and all, and they go nuts. They say, you know what? I'm gonna put some time into supporting Moors. And then you could say the pale, any nationality. They know who the Moors are and are proud and happy to see Moors in 2019. Trust that.
Yep. It's crazy. Just to back what you're saying, you can go on my page and you can see it. Type in European proves that, you know, this is Morocco. And he's up there telling it all, talking about the prophet. Everything had pictures of the prophet on there, explaining, like, he brought it over to the continent, to Africa, quote unquote, and wanted to know what they thought of him. You know, like, this is European going in for the Moors, but like you asked earlier, what are they doing? What's a Moor doing to help? They're debating Moors. Moors are debating Moors that they're not Moors.
Yeah.
That's what Moors are doing.
Right. Moors are debating Moors that they're not Moors.
Yeah.
One more time.
What are Moors doing? Well, Moors are debating Moors that they're not Moors. That's what's going on. Yo, insane. why though? But why? Because these people are literally getting funded. Their finances, like Todd said when he called them out, getting their fancy suits. Even he had to laugh at that. When you watch the debate, Edward X had to giggle at the fact that Todd called them out. Yeah. Saying like, oh, they get their little fancy suits. Yep. He busted out laughing. Because he knew it.
You already know it.
Like,
you already know.
You already know. You know what it is.
These people aren't, you know what I mean, in the dark. He even said too, I'm a Moor. But I'm also black. So if you're black, then you're a blackamoor, which means you're not black, you're a Moor. Stop playing around.
Right. And then trying to say when Europeans called us blackamoors, it just meant black. I said, yo, that's the craziest thing. Like, we clown it. Don't we? Okay. We joke about that. That means that. Like, we joke about that. Like, we be like, oh, blackamoor means black. Like, we laugh at that. Like, because it sounds ignorant. It is ignorant. It can never do that. And he said it like it was a fact. Like, how? How did he do that? Like, that was the most amazing thing I saw. I was like, wait a minute. We joke about that. This guy's using it like it's a fact.
Yeah.
That's the Indian right there. See that? Because I keep seeing that.
Yeah, that was the Los Indios.
That's the Los Indios right there. That's the Indian, the godless one. The godless one, knowing that we are gods, says it in their book. So once you say you're not God, you're not the Moor. You're not a Moor. You're the Los Indios.
The godless ones.
That's exactly. Look at him. He's black, which means wicked, sinister, deadly, Los Indios. It's the same thing. Black, Indian, all of that. It's the same thing, which comes from the Spanish Inquisition. European elites put that together. During the 1500s, 1550s, they got together, started putting up caste system. It's called casta. They have another. It's all of these are quote unquote Spanish terms during the Spanish Inquisition against the Moors. So that's the other thing too that I noticed. Like, those are the Moriscos in history and to today. Those are the ones who converted, switched up, went to the other side, and are promoting to keep the quote unquote Catholic Church, the Vatican, in power. Yeah. Because they promote black power, or race, and the race, like all of that comes from Spanish Inquisition. Race was made up. Race was made up. Quote unquote European elites, they made it up. It comes from raza, which when you do more, because I had to really research this word. Raza means to breed horses.
Mm-hmm.
Raza. It was, and the English looked at it like it was spelled Raezza, and then it became the anglicized word race, and it says, and it also says Carl Linnaeus, that they took on the Carl Linnaeus like his syndrome of classification to put together race. Like, they used it. We know that, but to see how the Spanish, like, it's telling you, like, if you do research, it tells you, like, the Inquisition, we use that to make up race, and then it has casta to put classifications, the caste system. That's all real. They made all that up.
Yeah.
So with casta, what they did was that when they started breeding, well, quote, because it's all status. Even back, it was all status because the stock. Because when it says that it was breeding, breed horses or to breed stock. And we know that today. Like, oh, they talking about chattel property. You know, it goes back to the Inquisition. The race, the word race means to breed. It's inquisitional practices. So when they talking about black pride or this race, that's racism, they're promoting the Spanish inquisitional practices. That's why when I say, oh, they selling out, that's the part right there. Like they're promoting this inquisitional practices still. Every time you say, oh, that's racist, or black pride, or something colored, or the Negro, or oh, that's inquisitional practices. So you use those terms. That's why they're selling out, because they're Moriscos working for the other side. But then you gotta really, once you really study history too, we also know Queen Isabella and Ferdinand was not Jim Carrey or Britney Spears. Those people didn't look like that. Ferdinand's mother was a so-called Jew. And at that time, we know that the so-called Jews was Moorish. So how can Ferdinand be looking like Jim Carrey? That's impossible. His mother was a Moor, which they would call sometimes a Jew. But and that's another thing. The word, it wasn't Jew. They were called Morenos. Marranos. Look up those Sephardic. Type in Sephardic Moranos. They weren't Jews at all. They were called Moranos.
No, don't feel it for them, Aya. Don't feel it for them, because there's no way. Like the venue where the debate was, is a Moorish venue, Moorish vegan spot. So don't think this is some NOI thing. They bring us together, show that there's unity. Look, the Moors are sitting with and all that BS. That ain't what's going on. Moors put that on. Moors had the venue for that. That's a Moorish venue where they go learn, waste people's 3 hours that night. They got Abdullah standing over there. He could have did the goddamn class that night. It'd been better than some debate. Worth way more in the people's consciousness. Because the issue is the black guy BS going on up there. That's the problem. The problem isn't we can't get along, because the problem is there's no such thing as black people. There's no yellow people. There's no purple people, orange people. There's none of that. There's what's your nationality. If you're not, if you have nothing, then you're going to be classified. And these people are embracing the classification, but telling us that we're studying from European books or whatever. You know, what our people are identifying themselves as is from the European. You're not giving that up. We're not giving that up. Moors have been here already, this debate and whatever. Beheading Negroes. After the debate stage bloody, more just putting the scimitar back and go wash off. Because intellect is what wins debates. Intellect wins debates. not some slideshow. Slideshow don't win debates. Now if you use slideshow, you would have to do it properly, like we did with certain people to behead them. Now you don't hear about them anymore. Because everything's turning over. It's new soil time. You better be getting information like the mother said. I don't care what you think you know. You better be getting information. Because you literally have nothing else. Which is why, again, you want to go back. Brother Yusuf, you could talk on this one. With the marker head. You saw the marker head one? You heard it?
The which one?
With the marker in the youth man's head.
Oh, man. That one right there.
Yeah.
That one was different. That right there, because I'm like, oh. And that's, again, the foundation of that. Inquisitional practices.
Right, statuses.
And again, you can't, okay. Let's back up a little bit too. The prophet came in 1913. I'm not going to blame the mother for that. Blame the sellout dirty Moors that got rid of the prophet off of the scene back in 1929 and did all the dirty work, took the signs off, took the Moor sign off the building, and just threw up there black Muslims and started off with 120,000 members. This is a prophet came 100 years ago. Told us we wasn't Negro, colored, black, or Ethiopian. We were Moors. Our empire extended over here, Southwest America, right over here. We the true Aboriginal, so-called Aboriginal indigenous people of the land. But because of the sellout, child over here is getting permanent marker in his head. Now, look what happened. Look, inquisitional practices, the sellout. Now look what happened to the Moors. Look what's happening to us.
Still the Inquisition.
Yep.
Which is the point the mother's making. But forget about some slavery BS. It's Inquisition. You say Inquisition, they know exactly what you're talking about. Right? This would be the branding. This would be to hold you down, because no way. Now and then think about this too. Back in the day, teachers getting knocked the hell out. You try that stuff there with certain people.
Yep.
Teachers getting knocked the hell out. Lady, man, old lady, doesn't matter. What are you talking about? You're going to put marker in my head. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? Are you nuts?
Yep.
Like, we're both getting suspended. Get this.
Right.
But again, you have the sellouts who jumped on the mom.
Yep.
Like, oh, well, we signed the thing already over there. We already signed the Inquisition papers for them to let our children be shadowed. Right? Of course, that's going to be in favor of them, because the quote-unquote dress code but she didn't sign. But then being in a dead status. And then, of course, has the right to sue, but more likely going to hire one of these guys. Again, because I'm not going to blame her. Because it was supposed to be in the curriculum for us to already know Constitution and all that. It was supposed to be already in the... Oh, this is why I even wanted to... Brother Yusuf. Why wouldn't something like this happen? beyond the fact that you know, Lil Yusuf has 2-parent household and all that stuff. We don't know his situations, but if this was Lil Yusuf, what, like, how?
See, that whole thing, we would have never, I would have never made the news. That would have never been me. Never. First thing they already know, okay, that's Mr. L's son, so that's different. They already
He's off limits.
They already know these people have been put on notice. You know, I sent him name correction paperwork. You know, been there, seen these people face to face. They know the situation. I'm not playing with these colonists. You know, and they know that. But from just, you know, I'm not even okay. But you got to remember, I'm the so-called parent. I'm not there, so my son's just there. My son been talking about the school doesn't have jurisdiction since he was in kindergarten. He been saying that since kindergarten. No, they don't have no jurisdiction. They can't. They're Europeans. They're not from here. They can't tell. Only people who can tell me what to do is my mother and my dad. Like, that's it. Like, nobody else. Because that's the real so-called government. Like, that's it right there. It ain't colonists, all these people who got different titles. And my son, he studied. He know what those words mean. You know, like a principal, or they don't even call them principals no more. They're executive directors. So I let him look up all those words. Like, these people, or a teacher. And I'm like, here read the definition of a teacher. And I'm like, now, all right, is your school doing that? No. Like, okay, then they're not teachers. They're not even teaching. So he already knows, like, touching. Like, I don't even know how like, because that has to be inquisitional practices. Like, we're at the point now where our children are letting people touch them. Like, how like, my son would never let nobody just touch him. How did that happen? How did he just voluntarily go up? Like, yeah, okay, let me put this mark.
Because those marks are
that's assault.
Yeah, those marks are straight too. Like, that's not even. He wasn't even moving. He wasn't fighting.
Right. No, they're not. Let him. No, my son's going crazy. Absolutely crazy. My son knows what. I asked him. After I asked him, I said, when in doubt, go crazy. That's it right there. Like, this, don't let nobody touch you. That's insane. When in doubt, go crazy. Don't let nobody ever touch you. Just start going crazy.
That's a real one. When in doubt, go crazy.
Just go crazy. Don't let nobody touch you, ever. You do all that spitting and drooling out the mouth, go crazy. If you start do that, but what?
So how
don't worry.
How would it, like, okay, so from the side of, like, because I knew some people who dealt with some situations like at you know, daycares or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But as far as like a school setting and some of these like outrageous stuff, you know, like how you as a parent, like how are you, for parents out there who aren't really seeing the severity, like how are you looking at the status thing as far as him being in that jurisdiction and them, you know, like how, like this, for example, this should be a super duper wake up call if I was a parent that,
Right.
you know, something's definitely wrong if he's gonna be the one that they're using as the board.
Yep.
Like what? Like how come that guy over there wasn't picked or whoever else? You know what I mean? Because to say use a marker and color it in instead of go to the office says more about the system that's there than the marker and all of that.
Yep.
Because there must be there has to be some level of allowance above the level of the individual who did that. You know what I mean? Like, what if this is just a loose school where it's just that loose there? That this is just an incident that a parent happened to talk about. They might say class action, and you have all these different people coming up and all saying that, oh yeah, all types of madness. Hang your shoes from your ears or whatever. Crazy ones. But as a parent, like the status aspect, you know, making sure that your child is not in their jurisdiction. Like what level do you look at that?
And okay, that's very important because just like you just saw just now, his status is that child was Negro colored black. My child's status is not Negro colored black. And that's the first thing is status. So I make sure I let the school know his status is even more. That was very important. A couple of years ago when I first did that, I stressed the fact. I mean, it was ridiculous. I remember it, you know, writing those writs, staying up, no sleep, till I brought him to school. Because I brought him to school that day, but I didn't sleep that night. I worked all night on that writ, and then woke up and started getting and when he woke him up, started getting his stuff ready, and no sleep all the way to make sure I put these people on notice. And but the thing was, though, which is very, very important, now, I did all of that, you know, staying up, all of that, putting these people on notice. But the first thing they did was they asked his mother. They wanted to know. First thing they did was ask his mother, is this information he's sending, like, the correct information? Like, they had to get the okay from her. And once she said, yes, whatever his father does, you know, that's his father, whatever, and he broke that down, it was a go. But that right there let me know, too, like, oh, the mothers was always right. This is matriarchal. And they not only they didn't come at me, oh, you can't do that, nothing like that. They was like, okay, let's ask his mother. You know, like, ask it, like, and once she said, yeah, that's what it is, that's what it was. But they had to get the confirmation from her. And I knew, I said, see, this is real, because they knew that we're matriarchal. Like, he's just the father. Like, that don't mean nothing. He is with his mother. If his mother, where he came from, where he came out of, is not saying she more, and she agreed with this, then ain't none of this working. Ain't none of this working. And I was sitting there thinking, like, dang, man, I'd have did all that paperwork, and she would have been like, no. You know what I mean? Like, wow. You know, and it hit me another way, too. It was like, man, I did all of that. It really wasn't, I really didn't have to write all of that and do all of that. I mean, that's for me. That was for me, more or less, doing all that studying and staying up. I could have wrote 2 sentences. And all they were going to do is do the same thing. Ask their mother. With the first thing, was because their status. Well, what's his mom's status?
Yeah.
So it's always easier coming. Well, in my experience, it was always when she said it was a go, it was a go.
That was that.
And everything else after that is, you know, they talk to her, but she tells them like, okay, I can go get his father, and then they be like, well, you know, and everything changes. But status was very important.
Yeah.
Very important. Very, very important. Like, and I see it too when okay, you know, there's no such thing as coincidences at all. So when I put the school on notice and they tried to violate my son or something, what was it? I think it was that Black History Month stuff. No. Okay. When he was in 2nd grade, his school teacher, they all had these numbers, and they had to write it on the top of their paper next to their title. And that's the other thing. My son, he scratches out name and he writes the word title, but he had to write these numbers, and I was like, why they gotta write these numbers? And then, you know, I started studying, looking up Black's Law Dictionary and stuff like that, and then what it had to do with was children's soldiers, and I proved it. You know what I mean? I forgot how I did it. I wish I had the writ with me right now, but it was something like to show classification for children's soldiers, and I proved it. I went into school with, like, to talk to the executive director about it and put them on notice. Like, I know what you guys are doing. Like, I don't want my son to be writing that on his paper anymore and stuff like that. And they try to act like what I was saying wasn't nothing. Right. So what I did when I wrote the writ, proving when I wrote the writ to everybody, telling you do like this, I was snitching. That's the thing. You better snitch. So what I did was I took a page out of Brother Fontane's page, and
you hit him with the 50 million writs.
I took this picture and put, you know, changing all the charges, you know, like surrounding his picture and everything, and, you know, CC'd everybody, and you know, there's no such thing as coincidence, but you know that man resigned. They got a new executive director now, a pastor.
And everything's running smooth, isn't it?
Huh?
And everything's running smooth now, isn't it?
Everything's smooth. Everybody. That's when everybody knew who I was. That's when everybody knew. That's, you know, they were saying my son's, they call him by a straw still. But they know, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, to me, like, y'all have it on file, the paperwork I sent you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So every time he writes his straw on the paper, his paperwork backs that he's free national. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's just like straw on the paper that he has to write.
Right.
But he, you know,
straw paper.
But until he's
straw name for the straw paper.
Right. But he knows, you know what I mean? Once he's ready to write it, he can write it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I tell him, I'm like, once you want to write it, write it. Write it. They're not what they're gonna tell you, bitch. But I don't like to tell him that. I just tell him, once you're ready, write it.
Mm-hmm.
But my son don't have no issues. I just got a letter from the school teacher. It said, do it. It said, I hope this letter finds you well. As educators, we tend to focus our attention on the struggles students have because we are, by nature, fixers. This is the teacher writing.
Yeah.
However, when we do this, we sometimes forget to acknowledge the little success we see in our scholars. With that being said, I would like to tell you how much of the turnaround I have seen in my son. Right? He still doesn't smile at me in the morning, but he seems more relaxed and happy to be in school. Right? And, she just big up in them.
Yeah.
He still don't smile at her, but he's not, like his daddy, man. Like, oh, all of this is fraud. You know what I mean? He's relaxed with that part. He's like, that's not correct. We can look it up in the dictionary. He's killing them, man. He's killing them.
For real.
He was, but now he's relaxed. Like, he's letting her do her fraud now.
Right.
That's what the letter is about to me.
Yeah. Yeah. He's letting.
But that's why, put a marker in his head. We can't even get past that part.
For real.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
How did you even get that close? Like, how did you get that close?
Well, that's not even happening.
Yo, crazy.
I don't even know how that happened.
And then don't think that this is something we're saying, oh, because the Moors, whatever. No, we're talking any nationality. Any nationality,
right.
or anybody with any type of national standards. They ain't doing that to their children. Crazy. The thought doesn't even, they could do whatever. That student could do whatever. Not just going to hold them down and do whatever they want to them. No way. They're calling home first.
First thing they doing is calling home.
Huh?
First thing they doing is calling home.
Yeah.
Before they do anything, they call. My Moabite get calls during the day, letting her know what. Okay, your son is da 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 da. Like, there's no you're touching him or anything like that.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry to interject. Okay, so how about this one? Before you say that, let me ask you this. Let's say you got the call or you spoke to him and he told you that. The reason why it happened because she told me I better sit still or else. Somebody put that in the chat.
But I told you, okay.
So he comes over with the thing, right? The marker or whatever, right?
Oh, no, see? That's not happening, though, man.
It's absolutely not even going there.
No.
Like we're saying so we're saying from the perspective of he's quote unquote violating something in the dress code. Let's say dress code is black shoes. He has a smudge on the shoe, and they have him walking the road.
Okay, I'm glad you. Okay. I see what you're saying. Now, I went to the school about this, and because they wear a uniform, right? And my thing is, my son don't have to wear a uniform, right? So I went to the school and was letting them know, like, I know y'all real tight about uniform, but by law, and like, my son doesn't have to, and I was putting them on notice about that. And the thing they were telling me was like, because I was asking questions, like, I'm like, okay, say a student comes in here and they don't have their uniform on, like, what are you gonna do? It was like, oh, we'll give him the uniform. I was like, oh, how y'all do that? Like, cause I was shocked. Like, y'all would do that? Like, they can, cause in my head, my son can only get changed at my house. Like, my son's not in high school yet. You know, he with the locker room and stuff like that. Like, this elementary school, my son not taking his clothes off nowhere, but at home. Like, what do you mean you giving him a uniform? Like, where y'all get that uniform from? Oh, sometimes there'd be used uniform. I'm like, used uniform? So y'all giving people other people's clothes to put on? And like, and this was like bugging and like hearing. So I comprehend the question. So it's not like they don't try to like do that. And I was like, oh, listen, if anybody ever has any issues with my son's uniform and they think in their head that they can touch my son, like that's not happening. I'm assuming that but my thing was, I knew at that time, like, less is more. At that time, it was less is more. And I was like, okay, I'm glad they told me that. Because when I see everybody, I'm going to put that in there, what they just said. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that, like, I was on them so much in the beginning. That's why that executive director resigned. Because I took his picture and told him when he was in there because, you know, according to rights of a child, children are not supposed to be in detention. You know, there's no such thing as putting a child in timeout, or that's against the law. But parents don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, as it's difficult because I know, okay, my son, he's getting raised as a Moor. You know, it's parents out there who don't know the information we know, and they're not being correct parenting and stuff like that. So their child probably doing something in school they ain't supposed to be doing. Right. You know, so, you know what I mean? I can see stuff happening for that, you know, but my child, no. First thing y'all better do is call me. I don't care what he doing. He can be running up and down the hallway. Don't touch him. Call me. I'm on my way. Don't, no. Because my child would never be running up and down the hallway. I know that's my child. He raised on the 5 principles. Just like the other day in practice, okay, like my son is really raised on the 5 principles. There's a boy in his soccer team. He's teasing my son. Now, I didn't know about it. My son kept it to himself. He didn't tell nobody. And I guess, you know, he thought he was like handling himself. So he goes to practice the other day, and the boy is doing this, teasing my son. My son's still going back and forth with his practice, going on with his practice. And his cousin was there, because his cousin just likes coming to the practice to watch. So he tells the whole thing. He said something about his mom. He said something about his mom. And then that's when my son turned around and kicked him, put him in and did his thing. But the whole thing was, at the end, the coach calls, and he says, I told the boy and the parents that, you know, my son, he told him straight up, because my son is Joseph. But Lil Yusuf, but he says Joseph. He said Joseph he's not like that. So whatever he said to him, he did. Like, because everybody knows my son don't. Yeah. He doesn't do that. He don't do that. Like, so the boy in trouble for just bothering my son repetitively all the time. You know what I mean? My son, he's still on the team, nothing, just because he was protected. But I told him, like, my son already know. He gave him the love, truth, peace. You know what I mean? And he wanted to violate, so he had to show him the justice. So that's what he gave him. Like, you can't violate. I done showed you all this love by not doing nothing, ignoring you, letting you continue doing everything. All right. Prophet said you keep doing it, turn around and drop the world on him. Yep. You turned around and dropped the world on him. But my son, he not like that. In the school, no, he not like that. So, again, too, I don't know what led up to that marker. You know what I mean? Like, that could never happen to my son.
Right. It wouldn't get to that part.
He's not like that.
Yeah.
But and it's still inquisitional practices.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was Inquisition too, right there. It was definitely. It's definitely inquisitional practices. Definitely. It is most definitely inquisition. Maybe he died. One died.
You have reached the voicemail.
Show back. Who knows? So we don't know what led to Mute Man getting the marker in the head or whatever. Like, because just weird. Too much sauce. Too much. We'll just throw this out until the more gets back in. 7 lessons on magic and mysticism that we could learn from Star Wars. See, you had to.
My fault, boy.
You had to get the.
Yeah, you had to get permission. Yeah.
Get permission.
I had to get permission first. Give me that look.
Yeah, yo. Yeah.
But yeah, my phone had just died. Man. I ain't even have my charger.
Yeah,
we're laughing. For it.
We were laughing. We thought it was them, yo. We thought they took you out or something.
Oh. Nope, not yet. Not yet.
So I was just gonna read these 7 lessons on magic and mysticism that we can learn from Star Wars. 1. Don't ignore the call of the spirit. Don't ignore the call of the spirit. 2. Buddy up with a guru. And just put these in perspective with the, if you've seen the movies, then you already know who's who and what's what, where you could visualize. 2, buddy up with a guru. 3, make open-minded friends. Make open-minded friends. 4, serve the community. 4, serve the community. 5, have faith. 6, beware the self. Beware the self. And 7, be a journeyman. Be a journeyman. Study, study, study. Everybody knows. Everyone. No, there's a lot more. You had You got anything to add on that, or you're straight?
No, we was going in, Grand Sheik. I already know.
So, Islam's esoteric tradition. Islam's esoteric tradition by Life Science Fellowship. Life Science Fellowship. Joseph von Hammer Pertztal, the reactionary 19th century chronicler of secret societies, believed the Knights Templar derived their doctrines and practices from the Ismaili assassins, who in turn inherited them from ancient Gnostics. Godfrey Higgins, whose books influenced Madame Blavatsky and the early Theosophists, also concluded the Ismaili assassins passed their mysteries on to Europe's Templars, Freemasons, and Rosicrucians. Higgins resolutely defended Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, and expressed the hope to visit the Moorish lands of Egypt, Palestine, and Syria before he died. Godfrey Higgins, 1772 to 1833. Higgins resolutely defended Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. Right? So Muhammad, comma. You know what comma is? Then now the next thing, the Prophet of Islam. There's Muhammad, and then there's a Prophet of Islam. Comma. And expressed the hope to visit Moorish lands of Egypt. So Moorish lands of Egypt, that's one Moorish land of, comma, Palestine. No, they didn't say the fake stuff that they got there now. Which how you know that they know what they're talking about. And they tell you the modern BS. And you have these Hebrew Israelites, they go into Jerusalem because, yeah, we got to tell all the black guys, come back to Jerusalem. But I thought that's Palestine. You guys talking about? They go into Israel, and that's where the Europeans are saying there's Israel.
Right.
What you mean? When we know that that's Palestine right there. And then we're being told right now that Godfrey Higgins wanted to visit those Moorish lands. Moorish lands of Palestine? Moorish lands of Syria? Yeah, because everything was under the empire, like we've been telling people. Everything was all under the empire. Just like, let me just get this one quick fast. Since we're talking all this Moorish Islam more. I know you have some books there for your home.
Islam. Say that again, Grand Chief?
I said, I know you have some books there for your home. I'm just looking for something. I'm just looking for something in my phone that I was supposed to email to myself. I forgot. I'll show them more is this one. This one is pretty interesting.
Got something.
I know you. Oh, I know you got something. I know that. I know that. I do not doubt that you got something.
Okay. All right. Ku, the sole source of movement and measure, symbolize the universe of the Maya. Well, we know the Maya. Okay, because we know the Maya. There's no such thing as the Maya. They talking about the Olmecs. You know, we learned that from Dr. Blair. Okay. Ku, sole source of movement and measure, symbolize the universe for the Maya in the form of a circle with the inscribed square. The circle was the symbol of infinite, the spiritual. The square of materia. Ku was thus a universal dynamism of, or that which motivates and stimulates life in its total manifestation in spirit and matter, the all in one. Martinez points out the similarity between the Mayan Ku symbol of a square and a circle and the Masonic symbol of the great architect of the universe, the compass in the square. Martinez says, Hanh means soul or single in Mayan. Nhat means measure. Ku means giver. So I just wanted to show again the Masonic symbol of the great architect. It comes from the Mayan symbol Ku. So they make it seem like it even came from. They make it seem like, you know, when they talk about Egypt over there, that they made up masonry. No, they talking about the Olmecs. They talking about Egypt over here.
Egypt over here.
And that's in the book Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids.
I want to remember this one. China just finished building the largest mosque in Africa, in Algeria. $2 billion or $1 billion. The Jama El Jazeera. Jama El Jazeera. 400,000 square meters, 870-foot tall minaret. China State Construction Engineering Corporation. China State Construction. China State Construction Engineering Corporation. You think everybody's not in on this game? We got corporate jurisdictions and whatever. And again, because they're not playing that dumb stuff, they know that that's South Asia. And they're Asiatic too. So they have jurisdiction to do business there. Now, the company won the bid for the project of the Great Mosque in 2011. The company won the bid for the project to build a mosque in 2011. Now, that's the same thing with Drew Ali telling these Moors, if the European helped me, why not you? Where's all the Africa state corporations, construction, engineering, whatever, that was supposed to get this bid to build a mosque, since they're so Islamic and all that stuff, in their jurisdiction? Oh yeah, that's what Gaddafi was going to do until they got him out the way. To where they went with it. It's out there. It's happening. So back to this. Early this century, the writer and mystic Lawrence Oliphant, Oliphant, reasoned the Druze and Nasuri sects, Druze and Nusairi sects, were the custodians of the most complete system of secret knowledge. In the Treasure of Monsegur, Montsegur, an authoritative book on medieval Cathars, the scholar R.A. Gilbert argues that the doctrines of the Nusairis are identical to those of the Cathars. Moreover, we find historians and authors searching for the key to spiritual enlightenment among the Orient's arcane Muslim communities. Elaborate myths may guard the source of the teachings of Europe's occult fraternities, but they all point to the Muslim lands of North Africa and the mysterious East. 18th century Rosicrucians claimed sources in Arabia for their sect wisdom. Don't tell me about some European Bible, European dictionary, European God, European whatever. Don't even go there. Because Rosicrucians and Templars and all these people know that the source of where their secret wisdom comes from is North Africa. And everyone knows that's the jurisdiction of the Moors. Indeed, a central Rosicrucian myth tells how young Christian Rosy Cross, journeyed to the mystic Arabian city of Damkar, in search of lost knowledge. According to Manly P. Hall, Christian Rosy Cross was but 16 years of age when he arrived at Damkar. He was received as one who had been long expected, a comrade and a friend in philosophy, and was instructed in the secrets of the Arabian adepts. While there, CRC learned Arabic and translated the sacred book into Latin. And upon returning to Europe, he brought this important volume with him. After studying 3 years in Damkar, CRC departed for the Moorish city of Fez, where Arabian magicians declared further information would be given to him. Returning to Europe from his sojourn in the Moorish lands, CRC is said to have established a secret house of the Holy Spirit, modeled on the Muslim House of Wisdom he visited in Cairo, Egypt. Even the name Rosicrucian, a follower of the path of the Rosy Cross, is remarkably similar to the common Moorish Sufi phrase, path of the rose. One has only to intelligently study Rosicrucian rituals and legends to see the borrowing of Moorish imagery and the debt to Islamic esotericism. Incalculable debt. These Moors looking for some debt to be paid on some social security number. Or they want some account, bottomless account.
Yep.
When esoteric knowledge, it's like the mother said, knowledge is why we're rich. Finance means nothing. Knowledge is why we're rich. Yeah, but we need finance. That doesn't mean, it means something. Yeah, more. Yeah, more.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on with the you spoke about the Templars.
Yeah.
Knowing that they learned from the Moors. In the book Gateway to Atlantis by Andrew Collins, on page 191, the chapter is called The Knights Templars. It states, among those who recognized the importance of the Moorish centers of learning were members of the clandestine military orders, such as the Knights Templar. According to the stories, they had frequently trafficked with the Saracens during the Crusades in the Holy Land. The Order of the Knights of Christ and the Temple of Solomon, as they were more correctly titled, was founded in 1128 to protect pilgrim routes in and out of the Holy Land. So again, it tells you the importance of the Moorish centers of learning. Among those who recognize the importance of the Moorish centers of learning were the clandestine military orders, the Knights Templars. It's in next chapter. It says many Europeans clearly recognize the wisdom to be gained from the secret teachings of Islamic mysticism and philosophy, which thrived in Moorish centers of learning, such as Cordoba and Toledo. These Europeans all know. Yeah. Gateway to Atlantis, Andrew Collins. It's the name of the book. It's not the European. It wasn't a European up there debating Taj.
Straight up.
That was a Moor.
Remember, this is Islam's esoteric tradition by Life Science Fellowship. Where were we? Roger Bacon. Roger Bacon, known as the miraculous doctor, received his knowledge of medicine and the natural sciences from North African Moorish teachers. He often wore Arab dress at Oxford, knew the Arabic language, and translated Sufi texts. Bacon asserted that his knowledge was only part of a whole body of ancient wisdom known to Noah and Abraham, to Zoroaster, to Chaldean, Egyptian, and Greek masters, and to Muslim mystics. At the end of the 18th century, Napoleon invaded Egypt. The French explorer, quote unquote, held long discussions with religious scholars of Cairo on Muslim theology, holding out to them the possibility of the whole French army being converted to Islam. The French writer Gorgaud noted in his memoirs, the emperor reads the Quran in silence. He raises his head and says, as in a dream, Muhammad's religion is the most beautiful. Under Napoleon's patronage, one of his generals embraced Islam and founded the secret order of the Seekers of Wisdom. Like Christian Rosencreuz, the Sicilian magus Alessandro Cagliostro reputedly traveled to Moorish lands in pursuit of ancient wisdom. And like Rosencreuz, Cagliostro dubbed the noble traveler, quote unquote, and was seen as the emissary of a powerful secret society. He claimed to have received initiation into Eastern mysteries at the pyramids of Egypt. Cagliostro wore Moorish robes and worked to establish a universal esoteric order above all secrets and schisms, which would restore the patriarchal religion under such which Adam, Seth, Noah, Abraham, etc. were in direct communion with God, and eventually lead mankind back to the state enjoyed before the fall. After spreading his ideas throughout Europe, Cagliostro traveled to Rome, where he was arrested by the Catholic Inquisition and died in prison, studying more science. Dr. Pascal Beverly Randolph, the influential American Rosicrucian author, also followed in the footsteps of legendary Rosencreuz. He journeyed over much of the old Moorish lands through Ireland, North Africa, Egypt, Syria, Arabia, Palestine, and Turkey. His encounters with Sufis, dervishes, and other Muslim mystics undoubtedly influenced much of his writings. Earlier this century, another quote-unquote noble traveler, Noble Drew Ali, born Timothy Drew, the self-taught son of former black slaves, took a job as a merchant seaman and found himself in Egypt. According to one legend, Noble Drew Ali traveled around the world before the age of 27 in an effort to discover all he could about the heritage of his people and the tenets of Islam. It is commonly believed he received a mandate from the King of Morocco to instruct Black Americans to Islam, or in Islam. At the Pyramid of Cheops, he received initiation and took the Muslim name Sharif Abdul Ali. In America, he would be known as Noble Drew Ali. On his return to the United States in 1913, He founded the Moorish Science Temple to uplift fallen humanity by returning the nationality, divine creed, and culture to persons of Moorish descent in the Western Hemisphere. A charismatic leader, Noble Drew Ali taught that the true origin of the Black American was Asiatic, and Islam their original religion. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America, he wrote, need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. Allah, the one true God, has been known by many names, but everywhere His is the causeless cause, the rootless root, from which all things have grown. Noble Drew Ali acknowledged Prophet Muhammad as the founder of the reuniting of Islam and the promised one foretold by Jesus. All prophets came with basically the same message, and Islam was the original divine faith to which Muhammad called people to return. Noble Drew Ali laid the foundations of the Islamic movement in the United States. He showed that knowledge of one's own identity is whoever talking. Them finding out about this and them writing about it. Noble Drew Ali laid the foundations of the Islamic movement in the United States. He showed that knowledge of one's own identity, oneself, community, and religion is indispensable to a creative life for the individual and community. Noble Drew Ali commented, when we rely upon others to study the secrets of nature and think and act for us, then we have created a life for ourselves, one which is termed hell. Through this message, thousands of Black Americans were exposed to Moorish history, culture, religion, as well as the Islamic principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But his meteoric success brought disaster. Noble Drew Ali died in 1929. In the words of one commentator, some say from severe police beatings, others say he was assassinated by his rivals in the movement. In his sincerity and undoubted innocence, Noble Drew Ali met a martyr's end. Islam more.
Where was you reading from, Grand Sheik?
This is an article called Islam's Esoteric Tradition by Life Science Fellowship. Esoteric Tradition of Islam by Life Science Fellowship. Yeah, and that's just one of those, one of those ones that Allah just makes you bump into.
That's a classic one right there. I like that.
Yeah. Now there was I think there was a couple questions. Oh yeah. Can't forget. Thich, Nhat, Hanh. Thich, Nhat, Hanh. So I got put onto this one. And then you go look him up, and then he has like 30 books or something like that. And this man's been going in. So we'll just take a quick reference from this. Page 135. We have a number of stories in Buddhist literature of the many people who came from very far in hope that they might be able to see the Buddha. But they could not see the Buddha because of the way they reacted to things they had seen on the way. One such man met a woman who needed help, but he was in such a hurry to see the Buddha that he neglected the child of the helpless widow. Of course, he could not see the Buddha. So I say that whether you see the Buddha or not depends very much on you. When I spoke of looking into the eyes of the Buddha, I was thinking of the Buddha as a human being who is surrounded by a special atmosphere. I noticed that great humans bring with them something like a hallowed atmosphere. So when we seek them out, they will feel peace, we feel love, we feel courage. Maybe only in an image can explain this. The Chinese say, when a sage is born, the water in the river and the plants and the trees and the mountains nearby become clearer and more green. It is their way of talking about the milieu that is born at the same time as a holy being. When a sage is there and you sit near him, you feel light, you feel peace. That is why I said that if you sit close to Jesus and look into his eyes and still don't see him, that's hopeless. Because in such a case, you have much more chance to see, to be saved, to get enlightened, than when you have read his teachings. Of course, if he's not there, his teachings next is best. When I read and hold the scriptures, whether Buddhist or Christian, I always try to be aware of the fact that when the Buddha or Jesus said something, they were saying it to someone or to some group of people. I should understand the circumstances in which they spoke in order to get into communion with them, rather than merely take their saying word for word. I believe that what the Buddha said, what Jesus said, is not as important as the way the Buddha or Jesus said it. If you are able to perceive that, you will get close to the Buddha or to Jesus. If you try to analyze, try to find out the deep meaning of the words without realizing the kind of relationships between the one who spoke and those who listened, I think that you will very easily miss not only the point, but the man. I think that theologians tend to forget that approach. One day, when 38 years old, the Buddha met King Prasenajit of Kosala. The king said, "Reverend, you are young, yet people call you the highest enlightened one. There are holy men in our country 80 and 90 years old, venerated by many people, yet none of them claims to be the highest enlightened one. How can a young man like you make such a claim?" Buddha replied, "Your Majesty, enlightenment is not a matter of age. A tiny spark of fire has the power to burn down a whole city. A small poisonous snake can kill you in an instant. A baby prince has the potentiality of a king, and a young monk has the capacity of becoming enlightened and changing the world. We can learn about others by studying ourselves." And we'll stop there. But Thich Nhat Hanh, THICHNHATHANH, going the hell in.
Just confirming everything the prophet said.
Confirming it
Sounds
all.
just like him.
Yep, confirming it all. Really confirming it. You have anything to add more?
I just want to compare what you just read.
Yeah.
The similarities to the Olmecs.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is the same. It's just Islam. Okay. It says, but they use the word Maya. It says the Maya consider every element in nature to be cooperated in cosmic harmony, bound by its own vibrations into geometric form, a form which changed in type and quality as the vibrations change. Modern science, Martinez points out, has found that no cell, no molecule, rather animal, vegetable, or mineral, speaks geometric form. Now that's like, when they started talking about geometric forms, automatically already, like, that's Moorish practice. Like, that's Islam. The geometrical forms that they show all over the Alhambra and, you know, and in Al-Andalus, when they show all the mosques and stuff with the geometrical forms, that's Olmec culture. That's the Moors. It's all the same thing. And another thing that it was interesting, it said that to the Maya, again, it says Maya, the earth was not a corpse. It was neither dead nor inert, but a living entity, intimately tied to the existence of man, both physically and psychically. They knew that by laying their naked bodies on earth, they could revitalize their forces. They saw that the trees and the water constantly purified and revitalized man as part of the cosmic order. Just again, with just because, you know, this what the prophet teaches us to drink water a lot, like that right there was just, as soon as I read it, I was like, wow, that's probably why the prophet told us to drink water. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It helps to revitalize man. But we've been through this. Yeah. This is all ancient practice. This is all. This is not a new thing. You know what I mean? Yep. That's why I always wonder, you know, well, which Egypt did the prophet go to?
Yeah. For real.
You know, because he shows a lot of stuff that the Olmecs were already doing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff we was already doing right over here. Been doing.
That would really crush the paradigm, you know, because now we got to find the Sphinx over here. Where's that at?
Right. And that's another thing too. I've been noticing they just been changing the words. It's like with when Sheldon exposed to us the Teotihuacan or whatever. It's nothing but that's Saudi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, they just changed the name.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we know the prophet knew that. We're talking about the prophet now. You know, of course he knew that at that time. He knew some of the things that I find out. I'm like, yo, how did the prophet know that at that time?
Yeah.
You know, he's the prophet.
Prophet. That's how he knew. So the last one here is and you could add in on this too, Brother Yusuf. A Moor has a mate. And the consort isn't really on this information. They're on the straw info. Straw existence, straw way of life, and does not see the benefit of you or the individual in question proclaiming their nationality. Right? They're not against it or telling the significant other that, you know, you shouldn't study that, and that's you know, BIE and all that stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're just not seeing that there's a benefit. They rather, I guess, deal with the corporate stuff that we've been doing.
Yep.
Yeah, just wait, just your thoughts on that, being that, you know, your household is,
Right.
you know,
because that's, you know, in the beginning, that's the hardest thing in the world, man. That's like, because when it really comes down to it, it's you. You know, once I realized it was me, like, it's not really, it's the pressure you putting on them. Like, we put too much pressure on them. Like, you know, it took a lot to realize, like, especially for, you know, because that's your mom, like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to mess that up. You know what I mean? So, like, you start, like, I had to really relax, you know, and, like, realize, like, it's me. Like, as long as I keep focus on me, studying me, continue doing the right thing, not straddling the fence, like, you know, I'm going to be a more. Like, I'm not, that's when it all comes, you start seeing this, like, you're more like me and the Grand Sheet coined it sneak studying. They studying. You think you listening to YouTube, walking around with your phone on, your tablet playing, that they not listening? They listening, they hear it. The more, next thing you know, 4 or 5 years later, my Moabite reserves her rights now. All rights reserved is her signature. But that didn't come when I woke up. That came when she was ready to do it.
exactly. Because it's a birthright. Not gonna tell somebody when they're gonna wake up. Not gonna prophesy somebody waking up because you're awake. You know what's up. They're gonna know what's up tomorrow because you said so. No, probably not.
And that's something my sister taught me. The more, like, my sister taught me that she really, because I really couldn't comprehend it either in the beginning. You're like, why they don't want to be a more and don't want to get it like we get it. And my sister broke it down. You know, same thing with the Grand Sheik was saying. How you gonna wake somebody up? Well, my sister, she was saying, you know, she broke it down simple. She said, "What time you woke up today?" You know, it's probably 8:30 or something like that. I'm like, 8:30. And she was like, "See, you woke up today at 8:30. There's people probably still sleep at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because you woke up at 8:30, you going in the room, jumping on the bed, kicking everybody because you up. Like, they're gonna wake up and cuss you out because I'm asleep. Like, what is you doing? Like, why are you bothering me? I'm asleep." And that's exactly what it was. And I had to realize that, like, brother, you bothering people, waking them up out of their sleep. They sleep. Let them sleep. When they ready to wake up, they gonna wake up. Just like we do in regular life, man. It was the same thing. Like, I realized that, like, once they ready to wake up, they'll wake up.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, with them sneak studying, and, you know, they'll be sneak studying and feeling that pressure. Rome had that foot on that neck, and they'll feel that pressure, but they'll know what it is because they've been sneak studying.
Yeah. It's not gonna have that same effect.
Right.
Yeah.
That was so, like, don't rush it. It's gonna come. You know what I mean? It's gonna come. Just focus on you. And then at the end of the day, too, I realized too, like, you know, it's really about you. The prophet said, if you're the only one, be the only one. You know, just like the Grand Sheik was just reading, a little spark of fire can burn this whole thing down.
Yeah.
So if you're the only one, be the only one. You can be the spark that burn this whole thing down. You know what I mean? Like, And I had to realize that too. You know, like, and then they'll see it, like, hold on. This man really not budging. Like, he really not, but, you know, total everything, not straddling the fence. I'm not doing nothing crazy, you know, playing that. I didn't even know people still do that. Oh, you can't look at my phone crap. I'm like, what's that? I don't even know where my phone is at. Like, playing those games? Like you can't, no. Like, everything has to, and it's not going to be, oh, when you think it's ready to, she shouldn't be, you know, especially if you was doing Negro-colored black things as your background, and that's what she know you as for years, and then the next week you just, oh, I'm not like that. Nah, that don't work like that.
That's a good try. Good try. Good try there.
That don't work. That don't work like that. And we stress the fact too that if you got into this information 30 years, you got 30 years to get out of this information. Because you went through it. Just because you think, you know, and me too. Like, I think about it all the time. That's why I'm constantly studying. Because just because you think you know something, don't think, you know it all and you're the one and stuff like that. Like that, and you're trying to wake up to like that stuff. No, that don't work. That don't work. You gotta keep studying. You better keep studying. Because that's not what that's about. Going around bothering people, trying to wake people up. When we just been through slavery, you just been mentally enslaved for 30 years. Now you wake up now and you know it all. How? Because you saw a Taj video. Or you listened to Canaanland Morris. Or you went on Harvey Bay Publication. And they told you, you're supposed to be on that. That's an online university. You're supposed to be on there for 10 years now. It should be 10 years now. You should be on there. And until then, until you do the 30-year lapse of, you know, I was enslaved mentally for 30 years, and now I'm out of it for 30 years. Until then, you just keep giving her apples. Because other than that, that's the only way it works. You just got to keep giving her apples. Just give her apples. Everything she wants. Just give her apples. Just give her anything she wants. She's the Moabite. Just give it to her. Sure. Whatever she wants.
No compromise.
No, just do it. That's what it's. She's the one uplifting fallen humanity. The prophet wasn't lifting the man. He was lifting her. She's the one. Give her everything she wants. Give her everything she wants. She needed the most anyway. They put the Moabite through the worst situation than they did us. They need the most loving and attention than anything right now.
Yeah.
That's right. The Grand Sheik knows it. First thing he said, what you said to me, Grand Sheik? Apples tonight? That's the only way he knows. But you still got to get permission for the Moabite. That's how it goes down. Don't just think I be on class. I enjoy everything that. Don't you ever just think, oh, he just be on. No. Nope. I told the Moabite right before I said, I'm going to do class today with the quiver voice. You know, please. Please. No. Give her whatever she wants. I don't do that a lot. Nope. She's the one. We're just their sons. You know, what the school did, they called her. After I did all that work, they called her. They're the ones. You make sure you got to butter them up. You can't try to force them to do something they don't want to do. You got to butter them up.
Doing it. They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. They'll never do it. They'll never do it. You know, they start off with the taxes off, let them see you do that, little things like that. Yeah. But, you know, because sometimes they be wanting to see something, but even you change it, you know, not going nowhere. You know what I mean? go back to the old school, opening the door, holding the door for your Moabite. You know what I mean? Like doing that. That's important. Like
don't get sloppy more. It's only opening the door for, you know what I mean, the mothers and stuff like that. Don't get sloppy.
Right.
You know. Because then now you got apples to deal with.
Yep.
Playing around.
Yep.
Like, I'm the son. I'm just helping the mothers. No, the mother's not looking like that. Stop playing.
Right.
Stop playing.
Right.
Stop
playing. Around, you know, fit in the description. Like I told my boy, you fit the description. You don't got your turban and fez on, and you walking around holding up the doors. You still got your chain on, white tee, fitted, pants sagging, Jordans on. No, you're not mother's son right now. Brother, what you talking about? You playing games. You playing games. Because I'm pretty sure if you in your Moorish attire, whatever Moabite unconscious you holding the door for is not looking at you. She is not looking at you. She is not looking at you. A conscious Moabite, but she probably will hold the door and let you go. Like, oh no, I got it. Because that's not. That's why I be like, y'all guys, we playing games, man. Yeah. We want the Moabites to do this, but we straddling the fence ourselves.
Oh yeah, and another thing too, diverse nationality. So you're Negro, black, colored, whatever, and you're coming into this that you're a Moor, but your mate is from some other nationality of Asiatics or European.
Of Asiatics.
Whatever.
Okay.
Right? Whatever. They're just of other nationality. Always remember that they already got theirs. You're the dumbass.
Right.
So don't be mad when they don't want to accept it as if, you know, because they're looking at you like, you're dumbass. How come you don't know about your nationality? How you telling me about something? That's like we always use Brother Omar, right? And his empress as an example. That she's always want to know, what do you mean you go to a meeting to know about your nationality? What do you mean? Like, I don't understand why you have to go to a meeting. and then he had to break it down, like how we've been denationalized or whatever like that, for it to make sense as to why. Like, oh, so like what they show on TV is not how, no, that's not how it is. Like, that's not what's up. That ain't what's up.
Nope.
You know what I mean? You know, that's not how our people are supposed to be. Like, yeah, of course not. Like, that's savage or whatever. Like, yeah, that's the whole point of the classes and shit. So we can get our stuff together. You know what I mean? Because we're messed up people. Like, look at us. Like, okay, it makes sense now or whatever, you know? But, you know, and then always bringing up the example of the nation's going to support their own. You know? So, if, for example, if your mate is Philippines, for example, right? They know that the Aita are the original people over there, dark-skinned people, live in the bushes. They know that. They know that the Moros are descendants of those people. And the Moros are the ones who are fighting for the Islamic whatever in the Philippines. We don't want to be Philippines and all that stuff. We're not Filipino because that's Philip and all that. So talk to them about Moro, they'll know exactly what you're talking about as to why you're doing what it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? If they're from some African country, you could automatically go to the tribes. And if talking tribes, You talk about chiefs, and then you just ask them what does the chief wear? Whatever tribe it is on the continent. Guarantee you he has a feather, or he has some type of fez looking something, or some type of turban looking something. Guaranteed. Something. And you got some of them have the direct fez on. Like you see them with a fez. They're the chiefs. So don't think that they're dissing if they have some other nationality. And you think you know something, you're coming into this info, you just came in yesterday, you're trying to put them onto some nationality, they're looking at you crazy. And now you have to sleep on the couch or whatever because you're talking crazy to somebody who's already a national. They don't need no prophet to come for them, even though a prophet came for them too. But they don't need a prophet, they already got their stuff. They already know what's up. We've been the ones playing around. And then our sellout leaders playing with us, have us in this messed up situation that we're in. Once we stick to the program of what was laid down for us by the adept student, Egyptian adept. And he went to the Moorish lands to go study. Just stick to the program, we be straight. Super straight. Don't forget, it's Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, MHHS Eyes Wide Open on blogtalkradio.com. You wanna call in? Oh, looks like our time changed to 9 o'clock. It might be going on right now. So I don't know which one it is, but we'll see. Looks like 9 o'clock. So 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751. 425-569-5201. Islam to all the Moors. Brother Yusuf. You have any closing remarks for the Moors?
Man, give thanks, being sheep for the platform. Give thanks for the prophet. And Islam to all the Moors in the chat. And I'm mad that class started at 9 o'clock. Yeah. I gotta rush to get in right now.
I know. Islam, Moor.
Islam.
Peace, Moors. Islam.